I've spent 17 years of my life with an elderly man who smelled like cabbage, just to be told I've got nothing in the will, nothing, and he was worth £33 million. And you think this is funny? I have wasted my life with a geriatric coffin dodger for nothing. And why everyone thinks it's so funny that my husband donated all his money to a bunch of cats and dogs. Who even likes cats and dogs? I'm literally going to be homeless. I've got no money. Not even my own house or my car. I'm literally going to be poor. I'm going to have to shop in fucking Asda, like all the other poor people. Not Asda. I've wasted my life thinking I was going to get millions by marrying that elderly coffin dodger, and he looked like a shriveled up fucking prune.
This gold digger's meltdown is the ultimate karma moment minus 17 years of planning. All gone in an instant. Her accidental confession proves exactly what so many wealthy older people fear, being seen as a paycheck instead of a partner. But the real twist, the husband's final move was pure genius, donating $33 million to animal charities instead of his much younger wife. Looks like he got the last laugh after all.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now. I divorced my husband because I thought a successful marriage meant I was here and he was down here. That is not success. That's fucking sickness. I found myself divorced and out there looking for love in all the wrong places. Fucking this one and that one and that one and that one and this one and that one. And my body count going up and my value going down. I'm just going to call it like a TI is. All the while, my husband done found somebody else building a relationship and building a life with them. I should have stayed married to my husband. I felt like I was on this dark road with no street lights, pitch dark, and I couldn't find my way and didn't know which way to go. I felt lost. I felt like I was walking barefoot on that dark road with pebbles and hot rocks sticking my foot. I felt hurt. I felt alone because every time he and that one and this one and that one left my bed, I was alone all by myself. And which was supposed to be soft and comfortable for me, my pillow, it was now filled with tears. I should not have left my husband.
Success and status can sometimes blind us to the value of those who stood by us before we had anything. Career achievements mean little when you're left feeling empty after fleeting encounters with people who vanish by morning. Going from professional success to deep regret is a harsh reminder of how quickly independence can turn into loneliness when you push away someone who truly cared. The hardest lesson: watching an ex build a happy life with someone who appreciates them, while you realize too late that you never did.
Stay for the kids. That's one of the number one things I'm seeing in my comments. I'm staying for the children. I'm staying for the children. Part of the reason I left was because of the children. I get it. Thinking about having your children only half the time is nauseating, right? It makes you sick to your stomach to think about. But I didn't want to set the example for my children that lukewarm was what marriage looked like. And if you don't have a healthy marriage, your kids will know. And then they'll think that's what marriage is. And then they'll get into a marriage and think, well, this is like my parents. Would you tell your children to stay in a marriage that didn't fulfill them? Why do you?
Always just trying to keep it real, but, and I'm not the lady who cries on TikTok, but sometimes being a single mom is hard because you don't have anybody else to rely on except for yourself. And so my hot water heater went out, and I now have to miss my youngest son's flag football game, which I only get to go to every other week because I work on the weekends that I don't have them. And now I have to miss it because I have to stay home for a damn hot water heater to be installed. And it's just super frustrating at times because I'm the only adult in the house. And so now I have to leave him and go do that. And sometimes it's just hard to not have anybody to rely on. And yes, while I have a boyfriend, he doesn't know my kids. They're not involved. And so he can't be at my house. He can't help. It's just me. And sometimes it's hard. And that's real.
This heartfelt confession reveals the tough sacrifices divorce brings for both parents and children. By refusing to stay in a loveless marriage, she shows the courage to choose real happiness over superficial stability. The hot water heater crisis is a perfect example of single parenting's hidden struggles, handling every emergency alone while missing out on precious moments with her kids. And through it all, her decision to keep her boyfriend separate from her children highlights how divorced parents carefully balance their personal lives with their responsibilities as parents.
I am honestly really sad right now, if you can tell. That's like the weirdest thing about grief is like, didn't cry for 2 days, was good for 2 days, and now I'm by myself, and it's just like the hurricane, like it's here again, you know? It's, the tsunami is back. Like, it's just so hard, and like, I'm frustrated because I, my whole world got disheveled, and I feel like he has moved on, and he is healed and moved on and doesn't care about me, which I don't want him to come back into my life, but it still just sucks, I can't imagine, thank you guys for sharing stuff, like stories that you've been, like you've gotten through this and it's been however many years, because I could not imagine that. I can't imagine being with someone for a really long time and going through this, Sorry if you can hear my cat literally playing in the background. Like, I was only with him for 4.5 years, 1 year married. I could not imagine, though, being with him for longer and this happening, but it's just so sad sometimes, and it's like so hard to have to learn how to do life by yourself again. Like, you don't have that person to call all the time or that best friend to go do things with. And that's what scares me. I've never truly been alone and worked on myself, and I'm terrified of it. Not me crying on the internet more, but I just want to share all of it, the good and the bad, so that I have this to look on a year from now and know that I did heal, but also to help anybody else who's going through heartbreak. Like, heartbreak sucks. It sucks so bad. You like physically feel the pain, emotionally, mentally, everything. And again, I had 2 really, really good days. Did not cry at all those 2 days. And then, as soon as I'm by myself, or as soon as, I do something or something triggers me, it just all comes flooding back. And like, it's just a lot. Grief sucks. This whole thing sucks so bad, and I'm literally praying and thinking about anybody else going through a divorce. I just wanted to talk about the fact that it's okay to sit down and miss the person sometimes, miss the connection you had. I think a lot of the times I try, and I think I'm really strong about what happened to me most of the time, and I think that I haven't cried about my ex in a long time, actually. But today, I just kind of sat down, and this is a holiday I probably would have spent with his family too, and it's okay to just like miss what you had sometimes. Like, I know that we try and tell ourselves like, well, they weren't right for us, or maybe they were a bad person, or maybe they did this, or they did this to you. And like, while I think that's true, and like, I think that you can tell yourself that, that's like, I try and put on this sorry, this is very rambly, but I really did just pick up the camera and start talking. I think what I'm trying to say is that we tell ourselves, or at least I do, if I'm thinking about my ex, I typically am just like, nope, not gonna think about him. Like, we're detaching, you know what I mean? And that works the majority of the time. But sometimes you can just sit down and cry. You can sit down and let out your feelings. And I think people who don't ever cry about the things, or people who don't ever let themselves think about it, like, we have to think about it. We have to feel the things, and that doesn't make you weak. Like, being vulnerable does not make you weak. I really hate when people say that, because life is all about the human emotions and what we go through. You know what I mean? Like, that is literally life. And I just think that it's okay to just sit down and miss what you had. It's okay to, and that's not even me saying, oh, I miss my ex, I miss blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sometimes I miss having a connection like that, where I felt like, oh, I had a person, right? And like, I had my person. I miss that for sure, but I think sometimes it's okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to sit. And I think a lot of the times we try and distract, or we try and fill with voids, or we try and move on to the next person. And some days it's okay to just sit, and it's okay to have a cry and get back out there in life.
Something really quickly. So whenever I figured out that my ex-husband was dating the girl that I was worried about at the end of our marriage, I was so sad at first. And then I realized how much stronger I am now than even I was 6 months ago, because that would have made me feel devastated for like weeks, I feel like. And I was really only sad for like a day or two. Like, yeah, it still hurts. It's disappointing and it hurts. But it's almost like the anticipation of what I thought was going to be my worst nightmare. Now that it like came true, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, that says way more about him than it does me and our relationship. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that and share where my headspace is at.
This breadwinner's heartbreaking confession sheds light on the harsh financial reality many high-earning women face when divorcing small business owners who strategically minimize their income. Taking on all family debt just to avoid paying alimony is a choice many make, not realizing how fast those financial burdens can become overwhelming.